Could this be it? The true successor to the legendary Poco F1? This is my Poco F3 in-depth review. Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again, and here with my review of this amazing Poco F3 launching today at the When Power Meets Speed Poco event, full pricing to be revealed at this event in the upcoming hours. And I've had a chance to spend time with both the Poco X3 Pro and the Poco F3, the two new releases that will be launched at this event. And this video is specifically about the Poco F3. Is this the true successor to the Poco F1? But before we get started, let's have a look at the unboxing. Talking about design, and it's 7.8 millimeters, 196 grams. This is a much leaner, slicker device than the Poco X3 Pro. Similar to the Redmi K40 and Redmi Note 10 Pro, we have a very beautiful camera module here, and yet just like the Redmi Note 10 Pro, this back is a fingerprint magnet. And here's the Poco F3 next to the Redmi K40 Pro, and you can see very similar designs from these two, but I do appreciate this gorgeous liquid metal looking back on the Poco F3. And here it is next to the Redmi Note 10 Pro, a slight difference in camera module. I do prefer the camera module and the design of the Poco F3. And despite being built of plastic with Gorilla Glass 5 front and back, this is one of the most premium built plastic frame phones I've ever seen, with a gorgeous subtle design that gleams in the light. I absolutely love the design of the Poco F3. You know, design-wise, you know what you're getting here, similar to the Redmi K40 Pro and the Redmi Note 10 Pro. But that doesn't mean that this Poco F3 isn't a beautifully designed phone. I love this kind of titanium gray back. The camera module looks great, and with tiny bezels top and bottom, you're gonna love the design of this Poco F3. And with a 6.67-inch E4 AMOLED display, HDR10 Plus, and 1300 nits of max brightness, guys, this is about as flagship a display as you can get minus WQHD Plus. Just like the Redmi Note 10 Pro, the flat panel display of this Poco F3 is truly outstanding, with terrific viewing angles and colors that are super punchy, with a tiny chin and punch hole, and additional HDR enhancements you can enjoy on this phone as well. And the display on this Poco F3 is definitely one of the highlights, similar to the Redmi Note 10 Pro, with an AMOLED 120Hz display. This is exactly what you want to see in an affordable flagship phone, and when it comes to display, the Poco F3 nails it. And you will love anything you do on this display, including YouTube, Netflix, with a very immersive viewing experience, and the tiny center punch hole does just disappear when you're watching content. And in DRM info, with L1 security level on board, HD Netflix compatibility on the Poco F3, it's an L1 party here on Frankie Tech. And for the first time ever, the Snapdragon 870 on the channel in this Poco F3, so we gotta test it out, and I went ahead and did a mini Antutu throttling test on this device, 612,000 for the first score, and 45 degrees with the CPU monitor. So honestly, I was pretty impressed at this point with this result, but then we went to test number 2, and look at this. 604,000, only an 8,000 point drop, and still at 47 degrees. Guys, this Snapdragon 870 is legit, and the Snapdragon 870 stays much cooler and throttles less than the Snapdragon 888. And with the Adreno 650 on board and liquid cool technology 1.0 plus, 60 FPS is a breeze in PUBG on this Poco F3, so you can just keep swimming on this phone. Oh yeah! So guys, this is my first experience with the Snapdragon 870, and it does not disappoint, delivering a 600,000+ score, and even running Antutu a second time, I still stayed over 600,000. It looks like the thermals of the CPU are a lot better than the Snapdragon 888. Poco's made a really great choice putting the Snapdragon 870 into their latest flagship phone. And with a 4,520 mAh battery capacity, I've been getting around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time with this Poco F3, and in my fast charging test of the Poco F3, I went from 0 to 100 with this 33-watt fast charger in around 57 minutes. That is a very solid score considering the price of this phone. And talking about the fingerprint scanner, we have the same side-mounted ARC scanner as on the Redmi Note 10 Pro. It is super fast, super responsive. Have a look at how quickly you can get into this Poco F3. No complaints here at all. And the vibration motor, good news guys, it's almost as good as the Xiaomi Mi 11s. It is a terrific vibration motor they've put into this Poco F3 with various levels of haptic feedback you can choose, a truly flagship haptic experience. And you'll have all the latest comms on this Poco F3, including Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.1, dual SIM support, bands 20 and 28, but no SD card support on this phone. You'll need to get the X3 Pro for that. And here's just a summary of the band supports that you can expect from this Poco F3. Now let's talk about it. 5G is capable on this phone, and guys, I was so impressed with the scores I was getting here. Almost 250 in my room, which typically doesn't have the best support, and so you'll need to make a choice, 4G versus 5G. If 5G is important to you, then definitely pick up the Poco F3. And now the audio speaker test, dual speakers on both the X3 Pro and Poco F3, but plus points here to the X3 Pro with a 3.5mm headphone jack. Let's have a listen. So what can I say? It doesn't matter which phone you choose, X3 Pro, Poco F3, you'll have a terrific, similar sounding dual speaker experience. And wrapping up with the cameras, and just like the X3 Pro, we see the 48 megapixel IMX582 on this Poco F3 with an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 5 megapixel telemacro, which is good to see here. We also have a 20 megapixel front camera on this phone and 1080p 60 FPS video on the front camera as well. You also get the movie effects on this Poco F3 that is a flagship level feature you will only see on the Xiaomi Mi 11. And you also have the brand new audio zoom video, which will enhance the audio of your subject in focus. Now, if there's one nitpick I would have with this device, is that the cameras aren't exactly as good as I would want them to be. But if that's a concession you're willing to make, the cameras still offer decent quality, and you'll be able to record at 4K 30, delivering some decent night shots as well in the process. It's definitely the one negative about this phone, but the cameras are at least solid on this Poco F3. And now sharing my camera samples of the Poco F3. And this is rear-facing video on the Poco F3, shooting in 4K 30 FPS. Beautiful, just gorgeous late afternoon here in Hong Kong. Great stabilization. But listen to the mics, hear how they sound. Hope you guys are doing well. Can't wait to share my full review of this phone with all of you. But hit me up in the comments, what do you think? And this is front-facing video on the Poco F3, shooting in full HD 30 FPS. And yes, we even do have 60 FPS on this phone. But it looks really good, and a gorgeous late afternoon here in Hong Kong. Stay tuned, guys. I can't wait to share this full review of the Poco F3 with all of you. But listen to the mics, hear how they sound, and hit me up in the comments, what do you think? And this is a sample of audio zoom video on the Poco F3. So the way this works, it will enhance the audio of the person in focus. So I should be able to move away and it should capture what I'm doing and capture the audio near or far. There's audio zoom on the Poco F3. And now it's time for my final verdict. What are my thoughts on this Poco F3? Here's Frankie Tech to wrap it all up. So all in all, guys, Poco has definitely delivered with this F3 release, bringing to the market a device that reminds me so much of what made the Pocophone F1 such an incredible release, with amazing display, performance, amazing dual speakers, solid battery life, and while yes, the cameras could be a little bit better, they still deliver in both day and night, and you have a device that I feel truly lives up to the name Master of Speed 3.0. This is it, guys, the Poco F1 update you've been waiting for in this Poco F3. But hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on this Poco F3? And do you agree that this is the true F1 successor we've been waiting for? Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. Thanks once again to Poco for sending this one out. And definitely check out my Poco X3 Pro full review if you haven't already. And this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one.